of the Sifu Z live stream, also known as The Ritual. I'm Sifu Z,
Seafood Chad.
and you'll be able to hear Sifu. I should probably, like, every time I
Mm,
talk to you and listen to you, like, speak, I should go.
whisper into your ear.
All right. So we're gonna hopefully get together with Justin uh, out there in Tennessee. We're in the El Dorado National Forest right now, and we found 3 bars. So hopefully we can function on 3 bars here. We will see. We'll also give Justin a little bit of time to join us. Um, Hopefully he'll catch this stream in time. So let's see. What have we where'd we last pick up at? Let me see. Let me get a little we're kind of on a rock here. If we fall this way or this way, we'll fall off somewhat of a boulder. Let me see if we can both get in the shot here, right about here. Oh yeah, that's good. I think that'll work. I think that's gonna work just fine. So let's talk before Justin gets here. Let's talk about what is Chi Sao and what Chi Sao is not. I think we touched on this before. Um, this is fun because if I fall back, I just go rolling off the mountain. You guys should see this. It's pretty cool. Like, yeah. Uh, all right, and Justin. is here. Well, just it gives the whole nature a more critical aspect. Aloha, Jace. Aloha, Justin. I'm hoping I only got 3 bars here, so I'm hoping 3 bars is gonna work. You're a little bit freeze framing, but I think things will probably sort of connect as we're streaming. Yeah, there we go. So when we're doing these streams, we try to get from our head down to our toes, so that way we can see the feet and the legs and the head and everything. And then not too much. You've got too much ceiling going on there. So you might want to tilt your camera down and then come in a little closer. There you go. Can you tilt your camera down a little bit more? All right. Now, one of the things that you can do, I'm speaking to Justin, everybody else out there, is that you can get your camera ready and sort of situated before you join the stream, because you're gonna have a lot of people waiting for you just to set up your camera. So please try to set your camera up the best you can before the stream. The way you can do that is just to use your camera on your phone and just adjust your tripod and adjust things. That's perfect, Justin. Thank you. Adjust your phone. I'm sorry. You get your phone, you turn your phone on, and then you get all this situated before the stream. Does that make sense? All right, thank you. So I want what I am going over here today is what Chi Sao is and what Chi Sao is not, right? A lot of people have this concept that Chi Sao is a Wing Chun fighting system. And I guess, just like jujitsu, guys can turn jujitsu into a fighting by just sort of only using jujitsu techniques or isolating jujitsu techniques. Yeah, isolating is a better way because they don't use all the jujitsu techniques, right? But for sport purposes and rolling purposes,
Right.
they'll isolate techniques. So in that sense, Wing Chun can isolate its techniques and create a method of fighting. Sure, a lot of people think that Chi Sao, or rather think or feel or emphasize Chi Sao as the most important aspect of Wing Chun. I don't necessarily put the same emphasis on Chi Sao and Wing Chun. To me, the most important aspect of Wing Chun is its grounding and the Seom Tao, right? And then the sandbag, which we don't have. Dang it. We'd have to hike deep into the mountains with our sandbag, so we both left our sandbag behind. Uh, and So yeah, you can isolate the Wing Chun techniques in order to have like a sporting fighting methodology. Yeah. You could even go as far as saying let's just fight Wing Chun style. But that's all dependent on the style of Wing Chun. Again, isolating the technique. So let's say that typically I feel like I'll fall backwards here. Typically, you're in Wing Chun, you're standing and you're punching, you're parrying, right? So that's the typical techniques that are isolated to play Wing Chun. To me, the most valuable aspect of Chi Sao is its centering, active centering, grounding, um, practicing not anticipating, right? Now we had talked about this a little bit before, where some go sort of more hard, right? Yeah, there's some that are very kind of lean this way. It is very Chris Chan style, a very powerful, right? Really pushing forward, pushing forward. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which I don't mind right now being on top of.
Yeah,
Go-
right. You have to push forward.
yeah,
You're,
I don't mind falling that
yeah.
way. Yeah, good. Now, is that wrong to go all hard and forward that way? I don't think so. I think it really behooves you to really be able to kind of push forward, push center, right? But I think that has to be uh considered. You're isolating the technique and you're kind of both agreeing, push forward. Maybe you'll pivot, and if you pivot, then you're going to start circling around
Hmm.
each other,
It's doing
right?
the spin. Yeah, spinning.
Yeah. So, okay, okay, that's good. I like that. However, I think even more importantly is this other version where you're only going hard. Just meet my resistance,
Mm.
right? Yeah. Yeah. And now roll. Yeah, hold. Yeah, yeah. There you go. And roll. Okay, so what's going on there is that we're being very light in the arms, but very grounded in the legs. You see? So that's, I would say, the other extreme of that style where, in the Chris Chan style, where you're really leaning and pushing forward and directing your energies forward. And then the Sifu Z style, where you're really planting your power in and being ready to deal with that forward energy. Does that make sense? Okay. Any questions regarding Chi Sao? Well, I would use the techniques of Chi Sao in boxing, but I wouldn't use the isolation Chi Sao. We could call it isolated Chi Sao or something. If we're understanding each other regarding isolating techniques, we wouldn't isolate techniques like that in boxing, right? But here's an example. Is we're Go give us a good boxing, right? Instead of a Futsal Bonsal, this is how you would think of this, right? Is if you're throwing that punch, that would be a Futsal. And then when it comes back, right? Now I could follow that back again, yeah. And I could follow it back again. And I could follow it back from the inside. Let's do that slow, right? Here. And then I can follow it back. You see? Again, here.
Mhm.
Now notice I had to his arms are longer than mine, so I have to make sure that I use I don't overextend myself. When I was demonstrating this, I'm looking at myself and seeing I'm all the way out here. That's not right. Right? So it'd be here and then wham. You see, I stay nice. My structure stays. Right? Now, but that would represent just a fraction. That's so slow motion. Yeah. Boom. That's such so slow mo in real time. Right? Or I'm moving as well, right? Huh.
Mhm.
Yeah, ready for again. Huh. Oh, yeah, so
Mhm.
because I want to respond here in order to both deflect and attack on this side.
Mhm.
And then also here, I wouldn't want to go here, right? Boom. I wouldn't want to go over here, right? This is yeah, boom, right?
You get the whole like
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So here, I could go straight in. I would immediately from here change and then
Mhm.
yeah. So
Switch stance.
yeah, slow. One, two, three. Right. One, two, three. One, two, three. Oh, that's slow. This is do it. Yeah. One. See, now I'm punching from here
Mhm.
and here. So that would be how you would incorporate that. And what is that? That's nothing other than this, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
See, that's what that is. Chi Sao wise, right? Yeah. And maybe, no, and hands down, punch, right? Well, yeah, yeah. You see, so you couldn't, you would utilize that concept, but not isolate it to the point where you're like this, right?
Mm,
Now, what if somebody now trapping, somebody's boxing, trapping is a lot different,
mm,
right, of a thing. Because if you're punch, just give me like a 1-2, 1-2, right, and then right back to 1-1-2, 1-2, yeah, and bring it back, yeah. Don't
bring
freeze frame it.
bring it all
Just
back. Okay,
1-2,
okay, I got
yeah, 1-2, right. Again, 1-2. So 1-2, 1-2. Now slow motion that, right? Slow motion that, and yeah. See, I can't try to do that Wing Chun thing where that Chi Sao thing where I'm going to do this. That's not going to work because he's just going to, slip it, go around it, and punch me. Yeah, right. So you have to, you just have to use the concept of staying squared, right? And knowing that they're not going to connect with you, they're not going to like stay like connected like this with you. No. And you're not going to be able to trap them like that, right? That's not going to happen either. The only way trapping works is if they're actually trying to grab you, right? If you're trying to grab me, right, just like a throat grab,
it.
right? And then a throat grab, and maybe, yeah.
Mm,
See,
yeah.
now they're bringing their arms, and extending their arms out to grab you. That's where Wing Chun trapping works, right? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And they're trying to
Yeah.
trying to
Uh,
grab. Am I
well,
like you want me to grab like this? Yeah.
just like you're gonna grab here and you're gonna punch here, right? And you're gonna
Alright.
punch here. Yeah, that's a
Alright.
that's a typical,
Alright.
a
Alright.
typical, a typical.
Alright. Alright.
So yeah, yeah, there, yeah, yeah.
Mm,
You're not punching.
eh.
I want you to do this
Okay.
or that,
Alright.
right?
Alright.
Okay, yeah. See, because this is going to stay out trying to grab, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's this is where slow mo. Yeah, this is got to keep grabbing, keep grabbing. Right. Yeah.
I'm still like Wing Chun
Yeah.
wired to like to be a
Yeah.
woo.
So, right. Yeah. So now, again, yeah.
Mm,
So that's going to follow through. This is where the trapping comes from. See, that way I'm not grabbing. Remember Sifu Zelo, number 12. No punch, no grab, unless you're demonstrating. Right. So slow motion. Yeah. See here. Yeah. Don't retreat.
I keep doing that. I keep
Yeah.
doing that. Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
help it.
Yeah.
I'm such a
They
wuss
see
out.
none of that will work if they're
Yeah.
retrieving.
Yeah.
So in boxing, no, it simply will not work. You see how I can't even demonstrate if he does this right now, extended arm, hard arm, right, right. That's the energy you need right there. Okay, if you don't have that energy, you can't do the trapping.
Mm,
Now do here, yeah. Now you see, I'm not holding, I'm not doing any of that.
mhm,
You're supplying that forward energy. Yeah. If you're boxing me, I got nothing. I can't,
mhm,
yeah, I'm just like, I'm just deflecting or whatever. I'm trying to do something. And you don't try in Wing Chun, you do,
you do.
right? And so the trap is set here, right? The trap is set here. When they do something, then wow, oh, look how nice, and it's all just the trap is set nice and slow. So here, yeah. Now, yeah. See, I'm not grabbing. I'm not trying to hold him. He just went into that trap. Is that making sense? Cool. I hope the stream is working out. How is the stream breaking up or anything for you over there? Excellent. That's really good news. So, okay. So I just want that was a good question. How is that in relation to boxing? And I extended that to how would it be to somebody kind of grabbing and punching. And then of course, if it's somebody that's trying to take you down and they've already got that, like, that positioning on you where maybe their head's in there and they're gonna do a takedown, then that's where Sifuzi's 9 transitions come in handy. If you haven't gone to sifuzi.com and purchased the 9 transitions, you should do so. They are the most valuable contribution I've made to the martial arts is, in my opinion, the 9 transitions, because the 9 transitions brings you back to the china that naturally exists, or the grappling that naturally exists in Wing Chun, but was taken out back in the Boxer Rebellion, I theorize. Now, how it relates to grappling, you didn't ask, but I'm just reading your mind because that's your next question, isn't it? Okay. And that is, if someone's trying to grapple you, then you have to be very swift in your jamming of it. Because once they got you, then you have to know my 9 transitions. So, not knowing my 9 transitions, let's just assume you don't know the 9 transitions. Does a Wing Chun person do? Well, they strike, and a lot in the UFC and whatnot. They made the Wing Chun strikes very illegal, right? They made those strikes, and then they made fun of them, like, "Oh, in a real fight, you don't poke in the eye." Well,
Yeah, well,
in a self-defense situation, you jab, you rip out the jugular, stuff like that. By the way, is all for entertainment value purpose only. Uh, um,
proceed at your own risk.
yeah, so if you don't know the 9 transitions, because the 9 transitions assumes they got you and you just position yourself so by the time you're on the ground, you're in a very auspicious position. So they've, again, in true Wing Chun fashion, they put themselves into a trap. That's what the 9 transitions is about, but in the China or the grappling sense. So, assuming you don't know the 9 transitions, then you're doing the sorts of things like you're going to try to, like, there are a lot of times they'll punch high and then go down low, right? A little punch high and do a
Right.
takedown low. So do that in slow motion. You punch high and then take down. This is something that you can't do in the UFC, right? Right here, just elbowing to the
Yeah.
back of the head right here, right? Now, if you even miss it, that's okay because now you can come down like that, bam, or you miss. That's right. That's right. So that's something you can do to somebody that's insistent on trying to on taking you down. You're just standing like this, and then they go for that takedown, right? Yeah, is just having that elbow in there, and even if it doesn't hit the mark, right? Which it might not, right? But it should. See, here's the thing: if they're a good grappler, it will hit the mark. You know why? Because a good grappler brings their head right up here to makes it hard, right? So the only strike is this whoom, this nice pure tonsile right as it comes down, and you're like, and at least if you're not hitting your mark, at least you're wedging in there, and then you can shuck out, right? Or you can sprawl if you wanted to, or whatever. But it's really important that when somebody's trying to take you down, that you get that elbow in there and create that space. And it very well could just put them out. And it's not a strike. You're just positioning, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. It certainly looks like a
Yeah.
strike, and it certainly feels like a strike because again, they're bringing that energy in, right? Yeah. Yeah, it brings that energy, that gravity too. You're using that gravity. Yeah. And then that gravity also helps you once your elbow's in there to help you do that sprawl as well. Yeah. Or at least to shuck out, you know.
Mm.
Yeah. And again, if you know the nine transitions, then that elbow gets in and then you position yourself,
Yeah.
typically under over and then prepare to do any one of the nine transitions depending on where you're at. Sometimes you're stuck in an under, a double under situation, right? You're stuck double under, so there's
Mhm.
certain things that you should do double under. Sometimes you're stuck double over. There's certain things you do there. Typically, you want an over under because look where that brings us, right back to Chi Sao, right? And Chi Sao is also an over under. Right? Yeah, over under.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Right.
it's a poem, right? So, so that's how Chi Sao relates to grappling, and also how it relates to boxing. Yeah. And this is an open class, by the way. Uh, This open class is brought to you by Sifu Chad Senior practitioner, Wing Chun practitioner Justin, and myself, Sifu Z. Go check out sifuz.com for more. Um, any other questions regarding Chi Sao? Well, uh, we've got yeah, it's more certainly more than one thing, and and it really depends on your Sifu. So for us, it's more about developing sensitivity because what I want is you to have a very powerful trap, and that trap is developed through our Seom towel, right? And our Chumkyu, Bujit, of course. But you develop your trap, and then your Chi Sao becomes your the sensitivity of that trap, right? Go a little hard, right?
Yeah. Mm.
Right. So when you even when your that sensitivity is violated, that trap is set off automatically. Yeah. Um, and but to some, it's a method. There are some people that just don't really have this center line thing together, right? They don't have this center line together, and so they're very loose, and their elbows are too close to their elbows are out here, or their elbows are too close to their body, right? And so if you don't have that kind of stuff together, then doing a very strong forward seal and towel, I think or chi sao rather, is is very important, because then it develops that solidity. You know where those angles need to be. Yeah.
Structural.
So in that sense, it's not so much a sensitivity, but structure. So, and both are important. You got to have, I'd say structure is even more important. With sensitivity, that just gives you a, yeah, yeah, It really is like a gun. I don't know how much you shoot guns, but I used to have this 1911 45, right? And the trigger on it was really hard. And so when I went to shoot, I'd have to really bear down on the trigger. It's like a 3 pound trigger or something, right? Maybe a 6 pound trigger. I forget. Um, and so by pressing on that trigger, I had to exert more effort, and it threw my aim off. Right, too much pressure. So if too much pressure will often in a punch have you too much effort will have you overthrown, kind of thrown to the punches, overthrowing your shoulder, right? So very much like this 45 is the trigger. It was just it was too tight. Had it worked on, and then the trigger was just perfect, about 1 or 2 pound trigger, right? And I can just point, and as soon as I didn't even think about pulling the trigger. And that's actually the best way to shoot is you're not thinking about pointing, pulling the trigger. You're just aiming, and being on point is a response, an automatic response to you pulling the trigger. Does that make sense? I know I'm getting a little esoteric here. Yes, very much like muscle memory, but also a thing about resistance, right? It's more about
Mhm.
it's more about the sensitivity again, right? Muscle memory is in the beginning when you're
Oh,
really trying to get the muscle memory to keep your elbows in and forward.
that the mousetrap analogy. That was a good one, right? The mouse doesn't. If the trigger was so strong, then the mouse wouldn't even trigger the trap, right? But
And you get the cheese.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he gets the cheese without even getting touched. But if the mouse trap is very sensitive to light, it's also very strong, right? Because it snaps it.
Yeah.
Then then the mouse gets it, triggers the light trap.
But yeah, the mousetrap itself is not light. The mousetrap itself is very strong, you
Right.
know?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a very strong mousetrap. It's just it's very sensitive. As soon as it's violated, as soon as they try to pick up the cheese, you see? And you do the right thing. You do the right thing because that's what your muscle memory, as you're talking about, kicks in.
Hmm.
So this whole thing of balance, uh, yeah, Chi Sao memory. Yeah, sensitivity and what was the other one?
Resistance.
Uh,
Was it resistance?
no, that was uh, yeah, sensitivity and muscle memory.
Muscle memory.
Yeah. I think those are two very important components of Chi Sao, and I'm sure you could have many weeks and seminars, especially if you had many different seafoods, as to their approach and how they feel. Uh, Something that I don't do that plenty of my Wing Chun brothers and sisters do is, and we used to do it to some extent, is we would have um, different types of combinations and whatnot,
Hmm.
you know? And again, that's great if you have the time, if you have the people to do it with, uh, and whatnot. But in my opinion, in my particular practice, it's not the most important thing. It's a wonderful luxury if you can get to do that. The most important thing is being able to build a strong mousetrap and then be able to set it so it's nice and sensitive without the mousetrap being weak.
Hmm.
So that's the other. So that's through our Seum Tao, right? Through our Seum Tower Chunk UBG is where you
Hmm.
build that mousetrap.
We're almost making the spring stronger.
Yeah, very much so. Instead of like, it's even very much like a spring, right?
Right,
The
and
tendons, we're making our tendons stronger by really compressing, supinating, pronating. So it's not magic. It just feels like magic, right? So let me see. Anything else that we should cover? Now we're going to do our 50-50. This is our 50-50 ritual. And it's been a while since our stream. This always feels like a confessional. It's the
it's
Catholic
been a
in me.
while, guys.
Yeah,
Uh,
since my last confessional. Um, yeah, we're in the mountains and getting sell. You got to hike through the mountains or drive through the mountains, and at this point, the more we drive, the less we can stay in the mountains. Because then you got to go buy gas if you drive around. So now we got to hike to find the cell signal. Right, we got charge up in the solar, and then we got to go find the cell signal. So pardon this interruption in streams. I really want to do these streams 2 at least 3 times a week, right? But during this summer travel season, it's all going to be hit and miss. Same thing with the privates is I can do the privates when I have the bars. And apparently I can do it with 3 bars. That's really cool. Because if all I need is 3 bars and we can do this, that's all within distance, right? From base camp, right? And that means we're not driving around wasting a bunch of gas. So all right, we're gonna jump on over to the Patreon site. That's patreon.com/cfuz. If you want to join us over there, all tier levels of Patreon members receive the 50-50 ritual. So that's a super deal, no matter which way you cut it, no matter which tier you choose. Yeah, and of course, this is all brought to you by the members of Sifu Z. Uh, let's see. I think that's it, guys. Go to cfuz.com for more. And again, to join us on the private session of the 50-50 ritual, just go to patreon.com/cfuz. All right, Justin, I'll see you over there at the yes, I will. I'll see you soon.